So it was a big win for the Indiana Fever on the closest thing I can call to Caitlin Clark Day, as they did a whiteout of her new T-shirts with her new logo from Nike in the building. A lot of fans were wearing them yesterday. Saw the team wearing them as well. That was really cool. I think people were waiting for some type of like Caitlin Clark Day to rival other type of days that other players around the league have gotten. And, in conjunction with the Nike rollout, that is, a really cool thing. And it's cool to get the win on that day. You don't want for everything to be overshadowed there. This game turned out to be, got to do it. It's been a while since we were able to do this, but it was belt ass out here. So I think that the Seattle Storm are just a bad matchup for the Fever. Like, they just have not been able to even get a win at all this year against the Fever. The Storm's roster is obviously changed through a couple different trades, but no matter who's on the floor, seemingly, they can't seem to get over the hump against the Fever. Huge game for Aaliyah Boston. Last time that she played the Storm, as well, she was giving it to Nneka Ogwumike, and then she finished this game with 27 points. That's a huge, kind of rebirth for her. AB has been kind of, I don't want to say coasting the last couple weeks, but I'd say her averages felt like they were a little down, like she was kind of taking a back seat, as Kelsey Mitchell, had been on fire pretty much, and there's been so much lineup turmoil that I don't think we've seen the very best of Aaliyah Boston. And if this team's going to go as far as it can, it's going to need contributions from, the one of the premier centers in the game. This ended up being a 20-point win. So right now I'm going to take a side detour and talk about how I could not access this game after a while, and my frustration with a lot of the national TV scheduling of the games. And it's a blessing for obviously any team to be on national TV, and the Fever, they're extremely blessed, to have 40 of their games on national TV. That's the most people can see them. But the strange thing is with some of that is the national TV platform, the way streaming has broken up, sometimes lends to people getting left out. I'm somebody, I have WNBA League Pass. I feel like, if I have League Pass, can I just like watch through that? And, maybe I have it fundamentally incorrect, but I'm almost like, what am I paying for League Pass for? And I've got, I want to watch these Fever games, but they're all on national television. But when they end up on something like CBS Sports, I don't have that, subscription. I believe some of the ABC games, I had to watch them through Disney Plus, which my wife happens to have a subscription to. But it's like hell to get to and log in. I had Sling for a long time, and I actually ended up switching to YouTube TV in the middle of the game. I was in Rosalina Lee's chat, so shout out to her. And a woman named Christina actually made that suggestion for me, and I was able to get right in, and I got in just before halftime. And, I didn't get a great I watched the second half, but I didn't get a great sense of the game, but the game was getting out of hand at that point anyway. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like it's a nice beat them down. Nothing real, pressing and urgent that I think, needed to be discussed or anything. So I waited till the morning and got caught up on everything that happened. But I switched over to YouTube TV, so I won't be having that problem anymore. And I'll be able to watch, whatever other games are on the, WNBA League Pass. But another solid game for Kelsey Mitchell, 21 points. Odyssey Sims, ever since like that rough first or second game that she had, has turned out, to have a couple pretty big games here. 22 points, 6 assists, including that huge three-pointer from Caitlin Clark range. We saw Gamebridge come unglued when that happened. There's good news. Seemingly Caitlin Clark may be returned to practice towards the end of this week, so we will keep our eyes peeled on that and see what's going on. But this was a huge win against the Storm because it established dominance over a team. And going into the Sparks game and the Valkyries game, it's almost a inverted situation where the Sparks and the Valkyrie have been these bad matchups to the Fever all year. I don't believe the Fever have beat them either time that they've played, and they play these wide open offenses and just give the Fever hell because it feels like those are the teams that the Fever should be playing like, but they have not had success in matching them, whether Caitlin's on the floor or not. In the case of the Valkyries, I do not believe Caitlin got a chance to play against the Sparks at all this year. The Sparks are creeping up, as far as a challenger for the playoff positioning, and I think the Valkyries might have taken a step back, but we already know they're going to come to play. And this was the 20th win of the year for the Fever. That's a huge milestone. That matches their total last year. And I know there's 4 more games this year, but can you improve on that? I feel like that'll essentially seal your playoff spot. If you can get somewhere between, the 22 to 24 win mark, I feel like you're in. I haven't looked at it super close yet, but I feel like there is it would be hard to miss the playoffs in a 12 or 13 team league right now with 24 wins. So that feels like the magic number. But it was a rough one for the Storm, man. Looking at, their shooting, obviously you lose by 20, and 20 points is kind of being generous to this thing because most of the second half, it was a lot bigger than that. It was like 28, 30, 25, and, it seems like somebody might have had like the over and unders, and they had to get this thing a little bit closer. It was a return of Erica Wheeler back to, Indiana, and Wheeler only shot 2 of 10. I was seeing Wheeler on the court, and part of me missed her being, part of the Fever. 12 points for Brittany Sykes. She's kind of their new addition. And NECA was the only one that really had a good game, 7 of 11, 17 points. But yeah, I think this was a pretty big win for the Fever because the Storm they're a team that I see a lot of the old guard media praise and kind of carry the water of. And I think that I saw a few posts from some of the media members, and they were just so disappointed in the Storm, almost to the point where it was like, damn, are you upset that the Fever beat them? Like, it's just like there's something weird with their team where it just doesn't tend to work. Like, they have like a lot of good names on paper, but you just put them all together, and then something, for me, it feels like a very like an older team. Like oh, they've been together for years and years, even though they haven't. Like, they're, they have players come from different places, like Skylar Diggins, Nneka Ogwumike. They're all kind of converging, but it's like a bunch of veterans that got together that are like, all right, we're all together here, so we might as well hold off, all the youth, essentially, with like Skylar and Nneka and stuff like that. But you see how the Storm earlier in the year had Lee Yuru and Dominique Malunga essentially buried on their bench, and they either refused to play them or they couldn't crack the lineup, to the point where Lee Yuru requested a trade. Now, when I say Lee, you look at the skill set, you look at the shooting, and it's like you got to be able to do something with that. But it's going to be tough getting minutes between Ezzy and Nneka. But I feel like, if you're a good coach, you got to kind of start developing the future too. But maybe their coach feels like, hey, I'm going with who gives us the best chance to win, and I'm going to lean on the veterans, but I think you're going to miss out on, prime development. And also, I feel like if you attach yourself to the youth, you have better job security. That's just me. But Malunga has seen more minutes in the second half of the season, and I look forward to seeing how she develops over the course of her career, because I think she's going to be incredible. As far as the Fever goes, Lexi Hull took this shot to the dome where she looked like Hasim Rahman. She collided heads with Gabby Williams, came back almost like it didn't matter. Just incredible toughness from Lexi Hull. You can put her on the list with Kiki Iriafen, who had the huge knot on her head the other day, I believe. I also saw Layla Lacan had this huge black eye, and it's like, man, I don't want to see these ladies getting messed up, but they are proving that they're tougher than hell, so it ain't really going to affect them like that. So shout out to all the ladies for playing hard and playing through pain, injuries, everything they're going through, because playing those 40-something games in a couple months, that's a compact schedule. You'd think it's only 40 games. They play 82 in the NBA, but they're stretching that out over 6 months. They're condensing this to 3.5 seemingly. So it's like, that's a toll on, your body physically. Anyway, 20-point win for the Indiana Fever. Very happy about that. I think if you're a Fever fan, you should definitely have lifted spirits at the moment. And, pray for the best as far as Caitlin returning, and who knows where everything could end up. You played well against the Aces this year. I don't think the Liberty are scaring people in the way that they once did. I think if you avoid that 8 seed, anything can happen. Anyway, my name is Rich. What did you think of the game last night? What do you think about Caitlin returning to practice? Caitlin Clark logo shirt celebration? And what do you think about the Seattle Storm? Like, what is happening to them? Why do they seem to come up short, in seemingly big moments? So I'll holler at you guys next time. Peace. It's one lifetime.